check. I'm probably going to have to restart this. All right. Let's ramble.
The weekly ramble.
All right. This is the show where I take the timer, set it for 22 minutes, and hope my mic is going. Because although I can see viewers sometimes, they don't say something like, hey, your mic's not going. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll start again. And I'm not sure if I had audio before, but I do now. I can see it and I will be watching it closely, which brings me to, I think I'm going to just start sharing things that I find at the thrift store as well. But I found these salt and pepper shakers. And I was thinking about that today. Like, what is, because I shared some stuff last night. But why am I doing that? And I think it's like thrift stores and antique stores. I've always been drawn to them because there's a lot of relics there, a lot of randomness too, which I love. Random works for me, but the idea of, especially the way I draw upon pop culture, there's it's always rich with that, things I've forgotten about. So it's kind of like going and shopping for palettes of ideas. That reminds me, there's an Allen Ginsberg poem where he talks about shopping for imagery. It's kind of like that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I come out enriched. So yeah. But increasingly also, I feel like I'm finding weirder things. And that carries on into the studio. And I make weirder art. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I've been uploading because I had a request to upload some, or not upload, but I was asked about some of my photography work that somebody wanted to purchase. And I'd kind of buried all that, but I found a hard drive and I found some old imagery. I started to upload that stuff, and it was weird. It made me think about a lot of things. One of them is that coming from the photography world initially, the one thing I didn't like is how I felt like I was married to a body of work for a while. And I think it soured me on the idea of prints because I felt like I was just talking about the same thing over and over again. And so, like, prints are something that I have done in the past with paintings, but it's kind of by request. And yeah, so seeing but yeah, when I think about it, because I dug up these images and I used to do editions, I guess. It was just a different time. But I don't know, it was cool to like see old friends really. Because a lot of my photography, my stuff was a lot about staging things and narratives, and it was fun. But it was also very spooky, I guess. I don't know. There's always a dark edge to it, but the funny thing to me was always that that wasn't the energy it was made with. It was just a lot of fun because these were things where I had to cast like friends and people, and the making of it was just all different. So a lot more social, that's for sure. this is this is the level of my sociability these days, which works for my life now. But yeah, I was thinking about the addition things, and a couple of things got me to thinking about that because I don't know, like as far as doing prints of artwork, I I don't know. I've always felt uneasy about it. Like it just feels kind of uh. So based on and really I talked to a Pop Fly Pop Shop, and I'd seen his formula before where he does a weekly release, and his is really specific. But I was like, I think I like that. I think I like the idea of retiring an image. So I started that this week, and um, where every week I'll be picking my favorite painting from the week. Maybe go back and, well, yeah, I'm still toying with the idea, but I think I'm going to stick to that. My favorite painting from the week, and that'll be print of the week. And it's open Sunday through Saturday, and then that's all that will be printed. And so I'll be like hand signing those. And I like that idea because I think it's just interesting. I think it creates this, adds a layer of collectability. Everything I do is like one of one, they're originals, and that's collectible. But I think it's fun to do a print maybe. So we'll see. I I feel like it's something that will stick for me, partly because I don't want to deal with the prints. So that's that's the truth. Yeah. Um, that's a really deep truth. But also, yeah, my email list is something I was thinking about too. Like to me, it's a big deal for somebody to allow me to email them about sales or whatever, which is what I usually use it for. I don't want to. I guess that's the thing. I always think of things as like, what would I want? If I'm on an email list, I don't want to be constantly harassed. That becomes annoying. And then you just kind of, it's white noise, really. And so I'm always looking at ways to perk up the email list so that it's valuable. And then even thinking larger than that, just adding value to, well, people that support me as an artist, because it's not something I take lightly. It I don't think anyone really can grasp what that means to be allowed to exist as an artist. Through my career, I have just been thankful. And yeah, it's a discussion I've had with other artists that we're just thankful that we get to be somehow, because I don't know, there's almost a guilt about it that that I get up and work on my stuff, and it's a blast. And so I guess what I'm getting at there is like I'm just thinking of more ways to to add to make that worth the support, like to make somebody happy, like really happy. Aside from appreciating and getting the work, I love that, but I guess that's really what I'm viewing as my real job is because the expression I've I've worked I I do that daily and that grooves. But then there's the other component of it. There's exhibiting and there's the exchange. And to me now I'm really zoned in on how to make everyone that's bought a piece glad they did, now and in the future. So that yeah. And that's one thing I'm thinking about NFTs because I'm getting paranoid here because they're I talked about this before, but I believe that my mic cut out, which I'm monitoring so closely today. But yeah, I, I studied up on NFTs, and um, in those studies, for a long time, I didn't see how they applied to me. I don't know which platform is going busy with the buzzing, but I, I think it's Instagram. I appreciate the love. I don't know. I've gotten really lax with this process, but I used to mute the phones and get really paranoid. But um, you get delirious at 3 a.m. Yeah, and you certainly it is an authentic rambling. But yeah, that's getting to be a little much. Let me get you on airplane mode here. It's usually not that bad. There's usually no one awake at this hour. But okay, I digress. But what I was talking about was just I don't know the NFT thing. I didn't see how it applied to me. I get it because pretty much what it is, it's confusing if you get someone to tell you it's a non fungible token. Yes, um, but I think where it starts to make sense to me is collectors who maybe say they like the art, but they don't have the space. Well, this is a digital collectible. And really, that I think that's a simpler um, explanation. I think soon it'll make more sense once there is mass adoption, and I really believe there will be. It'll be no different than a lot of things we do now that didn't make sense 10 years ago. So, so I don't know. I'm toying. I'm relearning the process, and I think with the Prince of the Week, I'm going to start putting an NFT component there. So yeah, I guess I was thinking a lot of business this week as I got back in the groove of my proper studio space, which has been it's nice to be home. Yeah, that was a rough patch, but I got back there, got it recalibrated, which is what it takes sometimes. And then what else? Yeah, that was a big part of the week. I've been working on big league chewing gum trading cards. So that's been fun. I'm heavy on the baseball, I guess, because the baseball season started. I am. I am. I'm at bad also. Yeah. Not the Yeah, it was interesting looking at my old photography too, because there's no denying there was a this dark thing going on. But I was very young when I did those. So I think a lot of that probably what made me move away from photography was I was still feeling the dregs of that angry young man energy. And at some point it's like, I just want to make happy stuff. And painting has been very much like that for me. I mean, there's a couple of times where you can't help it. You have I have everyone has a bad day, and sometimes the your mode of expression um, catches that bad day, and I think that's okay. It's it's a great outlet for uh, for that type of thing. So yeah, but yeah, I guess the last projects I did, the one I uploaded was these gas mask pictures, and which were just so much fun to um to photograph. And I remember it was funny because I bought like a box of gas masks from eBay, and I think I still have those somewhere. But then from there, I did this Mayan series, and I was creating digitally. I think that's where like I really realized that what I was doing composition wise was painting. Because even when I look at the photographs, the that series, the colors are very vibrant, really shadowy but vibrant. And then the next series was more monochrome, but I was working more digitally. And the deeper I worked on those, I realized that I was just craving paint. When I look back, I don't know. It's funny because I've talked to other artists before that are, I guess, earlier in the process, and sometimes there isn't an answer for what someone is doing creatively. Like my friend Austin, I remember he had these works, and they very tribal. I always loved them, and so I was asking him what they were about, and he kept talking, but there wasn't an explanation. And I said to him, "So you don't really know, I think." And he got nervous. And I'm like, "But that it's okay because you don't always know what is going on." And that is what is interesting about going into the vault sometimes. That as a creator, you're viewing it from a different time. So yeah, looking at young me sometimes it's funny. But I don't know, it's cool. It's also cool. I remember I had to move a few times. I'm pretty settled here, but um I just remember moving and um finding old postcards of art shows and looking at them, and they were a while back, and it was a good feeling. It's still a good feeling, like those old photographs are, to know that that artist is still here, still working, still coming up with ideas, still staying up till 4 a.m. Still creating projects, still thinking about the evolution. And then I start to think about that. You know what? And really, when I think about it, there's no end game. The only game is to play the game. I I like being in the game. You know, there are goals. Like I said, my audience is a big concern of mine because I appreciate the support, and I want it to pay off big for them, for you, if you're in the demographic. And I think really that should be every creative's goal, because that support, that love, should never be taken lightly. It's that's a gift. Yeah. I don't know. That felt that was heavy. I'll work on some fart jokes. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to do some writing. I've been very interested in I was listening to comedians. They constantly fascinate me, and I just I like hearing about that writing process. I guess coming from a writing background, that makes sense. But yeah, the I think I've been thinking about Norm Macdonald. I saw him speak, and so he told this joke for an interview. They asked him to tell it post Ramble here, and he said, "Yeah, I think most people have the idea. I think that's getting demystified a little bit, but that we just go up there and we talk. But especially when I hear the comedians talk, they call it working out. They go work out at a club and they're trying this material, and that's eventually maybe what turns into a special or something. But that's their hour of comedy. And that's no different than going into the studio each day and working out. So there you go. I'm going to sign out of the Ramble here. But if you're live, stick around. All right, I'll see you next time.
Bebop.